Mr. Salzquist, Justin Pluis, Chair of the HR Committee, District 3.
Ryan Hartman, HR Manager.
Julie Chen, Citizen.
Michael Tim, District 7 Alderman.
Jay Kavanaugh, District 5.
Dennis Pollock, 6th Ward Alderman.
Kevin Fangman, Citizen.
Paul Muller, Public Works Superintendent.
Steve Veneman, District 2 Alderman.
Awesome. Number 2 on the agenda, discuss and consider for approval the creation of an additional full-time position and the elimination of 2 limited term employee positions in the street department to be part of the 2026 attached requisition and supporting materials, the 2026 budget, sorry. So, I don't know,
Sure.
who wants to start?
I can start. So as you see, I think you should have the requisition requests, and that was completed by Department Head Ballard. He had that signed off on by myself and the mayor. He also had it, I believe it was initialed by Tim DeSorsi. So what he's looking to do is combine 2 limited term employees, which basically come on and work from a time period of April to November. And Paul can correct me where I'm wrong. They basically work a limited amount of hours from April to November, looking to take those 2 limited term employee positions, eliminate those, and turn it into adding back 1 additional full-time position into the Public Works Streets Department. So, did I miss anything, Paul?
No, not really. So what happened is probably 12, 13 years ago, through vacations, their former administrations, former councils wanted to reduce FTE positions. And so this was kind of a hybrid that came out of that, was creating these LTE positions. There's many organizations. I came from the DOT. They had LTE positions. The thought process was that a retiree would retire and then come back to work after they're 6 months away. And truthfully, in the whole entire time period that we've had this LTE position, we have never been able to fill both positions. We had 1 employee or 1 LTE position or person that was hoping to get on full time, and it just never worked out. And then we did have 1 retiree come back for a 2-year period because he just had retired kind of early and wanted something to do for the summer months. Otherwise, when we've had applicants, or in the spring of the year, when applications have gone out, we haven't found any qualified persons that would apply, because it is a position that's paying, I think 2 years ago it used to be $18 an hour, and now it's up to $20 an hour. And so here we're budgeting for these 2 LT positions and not filling them, maybe only filling them for 1. And then, as Mr. Hartman said, that it's budgeted for 1,000 hours a year, and they stick around for 600 hours, and then they get a full-time position or whatever. We're kind of the tweeners or whatever for them. And so, every single year we identify work that we don't get done. We're getting more requests from Waterworks and Lighting Commission to do work for us, us to do work for them. And so, we've had conversations. Well, do we raise the hourly rate to $23 an hour or something like that to see if it would be more attractive? We can definitely try that. We haven't, because we haven't been successful at $20 an hour. So this was just my solution to at least get 1 full-time or 1 additional body in here. We spend a fair amount of money annually, bringing them up to speed, a week or 2, and so here we're doing it. So again, we'll continue to try anything. We struggle with getting seasonal employees with the college kids and things like that to come work for us as well. So
I assume this is, I know this is a skilled position,
Right.
that they're skilled enough where if they wanted full-time work, they could easily pick up full-time work in the private sector just about anywhere, right?
Right.
So it's probably a really small niche that is only looking for part-time.
What are the qualifications, Paul? Like if a college kid wanted just the summer work?
Well, So we did, so it was prior to the wage study, there was two separate levels. It was when the seasonal employees were making $15 an hour, we would pay this person $18 an hour because we would keep them for that 1,000 hours. And then we also had a $20 an hour rate where we required them to have a CDL. And so really it was just very similar to our common laborer to have some sort of construction background. And then if they had, then if we were looking, we got someone with a CDL, it was just a Class B CDL with air brakes.
So that's probably a struggle, having somebody with that experience that just wants to work in the summer.
Right.
Like a college kid can work at the aquatic center because they just need a lifeguard or whatever. they're
Right.
doing.
Well, and like I said, it was a great idea, right? I mean, let's be real. There's a lot of people like yourself, right, that were in protective service or whatever that retired prior to 55 that still wanted to do something for a while or whatever. But it's, and we've had, people from my work group that have retired at 56 or 57 that still, wanted to be busy for the summer months. And it was just like, they did it for 35 years, they just wanted to be done, but the concept was right,
Dennis, you got anything?
Do you have people applying for work of any kind? Any other people out there that actually want full-time
Oh, yeah.
work?
There's I forget, the last common labor position we applied for, or that was posted, I want to say we had over 20 applications.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's picked up again in the last few years. It's nowhere near where it was 20 years ago when they I think said they had 100.
How soon would you like to see somebody get hired there?
This wouldn't be effective until 2026.
Okay.
This is being
Okay.
built into the budget. Yep.
What would you say the percentage that the LTE position's been vacant?
I would say, so I'm not 100% confident to say if it was 12 or 13 years, but I would say that there was probably, so let's just say that it was 12 years. Of that 12 years, there was probably 4 that we didn't have anybody in there, and 8 years we had 1 person, and we've never had 2 people.
Okay. Never had 2 people. Okay.
And the Parks Department has 2 positions as well. They've been fortunate where they have 1 individual that got hired right away. So I'll correct myself with them. The first 2 years, they had 2 LTEs. I actually hired their second LTE as a full-time employee. And then for the last 10 years, then they've only had the same guy that's been doing it for the whole 12 years. He loves to cut grass and be outside and does not need to work very much, and so.
So would 1 FTE at a higher pay rate be beneficial rather than an entire full-time person all year round? Like 1.
Well, that was what we talked about as another possibility. If we're hesitant to do this, which I understand it, right? I mean, we all know that what we're trying to do with our budgets.
Mhm.
If we wanted to increase it from $20 an hour to the bad part about it is our wage study, it compressed our starting wage for a full-time employee. We used to hire full-time employees at $27 an hour, and now we're down to 23. And so if you go from $20 an hour to 22 or 23 or 21, whatever, are you going to get anybody? I don't know, because it's the same thing. Our applicants at the starting wages that we're showing have reduced. I guess we're still getting applicants, but some of them are simply applying to make their unemployment requirement or whatever. So I've had that discussion with other aldermen. There's a difference between applicants and qualified applicants. And I think we interviewed 12 people the last go around, and there was 2 of them that we were interested in possibly hiring.
Paul, do you have anybody in the near future that's looking at retiring? I mean, where there might be a vacancy or?
I can say, yeah, but it could be 2 years. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, I
okay.
could have three, I mean, I have 3 staff members that could call me tomorrow and say, I'm not coming back, you know. But they could stick around for another 2 years yet, you know. But
Okay.
Is there the ability, based on the qualifications of the applicant, to move them further up?
Initially, no, because they're posting, so for this would be for a common laborer. So all our semi-skilled and skilled are already spoken for or filled at the time. So what we can do, or if you're referring to the wage scale, we have the authority to go to, I think you can move to step 3, I can move to step 6. The committee has to move beyond step 6. So if there was a excavator operator, for instance, excavator operator at the city of Stevens Point that has been labor, he's done all these things, and now he's the excavator, which is kind of the skilled part in the construction area. And he applied for a common laborer job here. It could be highly likely that I'd have to come to the committee to say, this individual wants to work here, they're fully qualified, they're overly skilled for a common laborer, but that's what they're applying for. So then it'd be up to the committee to decide to move beyond step 6. But so the highest we can go is control point.
Can you convert those steps, balls, and your threshold to dollars per hour?
each step, I think, is $1.75. It's roughly
Yeah.
2.5%, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, from entry level to step 6 is 3%, from control point to the end is 1.5%.
And the entry level for this is?
2306. Well, 2306 plus 3%, so 2347, 74. So going back to Paul's point of trying to advertise for, that's kind of the crux of the whole situation. If we were to advertise for LTEs at $23 an hour, then your entry level full-time common laborer is being advertised at $23.47 or $74 an hour, which begs to, then you're going to have that group saying, well, I'm doing a lot more than LTE. So then you look to it, you need to adjust the whole wage scale, and if you adjust that, which is group 8, then you've got 19 grades, so then you're looking at 20 grades. You're looking at adjusting, it's that whole cyclical effect or push up effect.
Yeah, I'm more talking about if this were to move forward to a
Mhm.
full-time position, so you would have the ability to get them up to like $26 an hour? Step 3 what? 23? And
Paul.
then you would be 20?
Paul could take them to 24, close to, 24 something.
So if we went with it, you could post the job as
So-
23 to
Yep.
whatever.
Yep, and so, yeah, great question, and per the policy, the pay provisions policy, we post the positions from entry level through control point, because we know that's within our discretion without having to come back to a committee, down the road to go beyond that. So we know we can post from entry level to control point, step 6, which is over $27 an hour. So if there's a fully qualified candidate, common laborer from Plover, and Paul interviews them or his committee, and they go through all the changes, like, yeah, this person can do everything. They've been at Plover, Nakusa Point for 10 years. I want to put them to step 6. So then him and I have that discussion, because he can go to step 3. And then upon agreement of us, we can go to step 6 and make that offer.
Okay.
Yep.
What type of fringes would you offer the new employee? I mean, far as vacation, or is there a waiting period, or?
Sure. No, they fall in line with all the policies
Okay.
of everybody else within the city. So
All right.
they start to accrue paid time off on day 1. It's all prorated. So if somebody starts in we're in September now. So if somebody starts in September, they're essentially only going to have 3 to 4 months worth of potential use of benefits. But then it would start over in January.
Right, okay.
Yep.
All right.
So vacation, sick leave, just like all full-timers have.
So that would be some incentive
Absolutely.
Okay,
That's the
okay, what
biggie
I
for
was
a
looking for,
full-time
yeah.
versus the LTEs. Yep, correct.
That's the carrot. right?
That's the carrot, yeah.
And then as far as the concerns about, budget time and budgeting for the future, I mean, there's always, if to say this, for whatever reason, is deemed not a success, there's always through attrition that we could go back to 2 LTs or, nobody would necessarily have to be laid off, but through
No,
attrition.
correct, I mean, I, like I said, I'm anticipating in the next 18 months to 2 years of having at least 2 retirements. One would not probably start at common labor, it would be a different maintenance area, but one probably would be out of this, my regular work group.
Okay.
Paul, would you have work for whoever you hired, but would you have work for everybody? I mean, every day, or?
Yeah, we get, like I said before, we don't accomplish everything we identify every single year. I mean, the winter months do become special because the last 2 years we haven't had a Wisconsin winter,
Right.
we do, whether we help Jake do building maintenance projects or other departments do projects or whatever, I mean, that's what we do, so.
But you budget for these LTs already,
Correct.
so it's not like creating a new position or allocating money that's not already budgeted. It's almost a wash. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but
If you look at, if you don't have your packet, so
I don't have a
a
packet.
full-time, according to Tim, a full-time equivalent is like $87,000 for a full-time employee. And I currently budget $42,000 for the LT position. So I'm simply looking for an additional $40,000 to hire one full-time employee.
so you budgeted 40 for the 2 LTs.
Yeah, 42,000. I think I just said, sorry, I flipped it. Yeah, 41.5.
Okay. All right. I'll make a motion to approve the creation of an additional full-time position and the elimination of the 2 limited-term employee positions in the street department.
We have a motion, I'll second that. So we have a motion and a second to approve the creation of the full-time position and the elimination of the 2. Any other discussion on it? No. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? None? Motion carries 3-0. Number 3 on the agenda, health insurance update.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I think we talked last month, we're starting to meet with M3. We have met twice now with M3. We'll be meeting with them again in the coming weeks. We have, they are seeking or have sought out a couple other options or possible proposals out there. We're waiting to hear back from on everybody's best and final offer, and that's what we'll come back in October with, is have all the information completed back, or for a complete and final offer to present to this committee in October. A couple things that we're looking at changing or modifying or actually adding. We had some employees submit requests or talk to us and just express an interest in asking us to entertain the potential for vision insurance and pet insurance. And both, obviously, vision insurance is quite common. It's not something we currently have. Our health insurance covers the eye exam. Then beyond that is for an HSA. We are looking at a vision vision plan possibility, which at this time would be 100% employee funded because it's very affordable, and as well as the pet insurance. So they employees don't have to take it. If they want to take the benefit, then they would be responsible for it. So it's kind of we see it as a win-win at this point. But again, that will be coming forward in greater detail at the month of October. So when we met with M3 last, like I said, they went back to work. and they were asking everybody to submit their best and final offers to us.
Do you know how many insurance companies M3 is working with as far as getting quotes?
I think 4.
4.
Yep.
And is it pretty typical to go back and forth a bunch of times?
Yeah.
Is it pretty typical for an insurance company to start really high as far as a rate and then work their way down?
Yeah, it depends. I mean, it can be. It's not necessarily a negotiation, but it's here's what they come with, here's what they see, and that's where our broker is so advantageous. They say, well, we see that, and then they show it to us, and then we walk through some things and answer some Q&As, and they're like, oh, that's a good point. We're going to go back with that, and then they sit down and go back, and they're like, okay, we'll adjust here and there. So, and that's what the bids and the proposals are for. So, yeah, good question. Thank you.
Jake?
To the vision insurance and pet insurance, so these are vendors that reach out to you?
No, actually we went to M3 and asked them, because yes, we get a lot of vendors that stop in. I use the analogy of Aflac type. It's a third party.
Yeah.
They come knocking on the door and say, hey, can we talk to all your employees and, you know, talk to them about all these things. And then typically we show them what we currently have as our package, and they're like, well, we can't really compete with that because the city has very, very good and solid benefits. But yes, it's similar to that, but what we did was, because if that were to happen, you'd have another third party out there that they would bill. We'd still have to do all the payroll processing, but it would be coming from, I don't know, Northwestern Mutual, Aflac, or whoever else knocked on the door to try to get in. This would be going through, we'll use M3 as the broker, and then whatever plan would be picked for the vision, the pet would be separate. The vision would be just come right, we would administer it right through our payroll check, direct deposit, just like we do our health insurance.
Is it an opt-in?
Opted, yes. Yep.
What brought about the pet insurance?
Actually, if I can count, I can't count very high, but I have 10 fingers. I know we have at least 10 employees that asked about it.
Okay.
A couple that went in with major pet expenditures, like emergency pet
Yeah.
visits, and they're like, oh my gosh, I had no idea that it was going to be $3,800 to have this done. I remember, well, and it doesn't matter, but years ago I took my lab in when she got cancer, and they're like, well, we can test her for the tumor. If it's the test is going to be $1,500, and then if it is cancerous, we can treat her, and that would be 50% for $5,000, 50% chance success rate, and it would probably cost $5,000. I'm like, whoa, and with no pet insurance, obviously.
Yeah.
So we had examples of that, and those costs have obviously only gone up from there. So with the pet insurance, again, we would use M3. M3 brokered it for us, and they found we would just take a link, put it on our website. We talked to the employees about it at open enrollment. For many people don't have pets, so then they don't have to purchase it. If somebody said, yeah, it's well worth the $17 a month for, you pick the breed, male, female, breed, spayed, neutered, whatever.
Yeah.
That's your rate. Yep, I want to pay that, and then we just deduct it out of their check.
Okay.
So it's actually becoming more, and I asked our broker about it, because to me, when I first heard about it, I'm like, well, that's kind of a fringe expense. And they're like, well, they're seeing more and more of it. M3 is more and more pet insurance, and they're doing it this way with, employee funded. They fund the whole thing. If they want it, they can pay for it. But
Yeah.
we do get a little bit better rate by going through it. That's the other point to your question. I apologize. By going through the city of Wisconsin Rapids versus maybe an Aflac coming in and saying, I sold something to Jake Katnoff for extra cancer treatment, and something to Dennis Pollock, and something to Mike Tim, selling all these cafeteria type options. We do get a little bit better of a break by offering our employees just through under one umbrella.
Okay, because the reason I asked is they're trying to throw pet insurance on everything, and a lot of it's junk, and I don't want
Yeah.
the city to like
No.
sponsor, even though it's opt-in, but like lead our employees down a path of
And I believe.
sign up for this insurance when they could just look
Yes.
for it on their own.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what we'll tell the employee, if you wanna go look on your own and find something better. The one we found that they worked through for us, I believe, I don't have it in front of me, but I believe it's cats and dogs only. So no alligators, no pet giraffes,
Right, yeah.
some of those weird things you hear about, that doesn't qualify. This is strictly domesticated cats and dogs.
Yeah, I understand that. I just don't wanna,
Yeah.
provide the door for some insurance company to offer some, like I said, a lot of the pet
Yeah.
policies are junk that your car insurance tries to get you to add, or
Right.
everyone tries to get
Everybody,
you to add.
yep.
So, yeah, just putting that link on our website kinda, they might be better off looking on their own, but I'd have to see the policy, I don't know.
To your point, though, there's some out there that aren't so good. I would trust M3, who's an expert in insurance, to recommend an insurance that's credible, right?
Yeah,
So-
I mean, that's what they said. They said this is who we've used in the past for other employers and have had the most success with, so
Okay.
I said I would bring it forward.
Will, after M3 has basically negotiated or tried to broker the best insurance deal, did they bring that in front of this committee for approval then?
Yeah, yep, so in October, we'll bring we're recommending a renewal at, X percent for a term of XYZ.
Closed session.
What's that?
Closed session.
They would probably have to be a closed session.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. And did they plan to bring more than one insurance company? or-
No, they'll probably,
Go down to one?
we're gonna get the best and final and say, yeah, looking at it, that's the homework we do. And in that is, the mayor, myself, Tim, and Sue. So, when everybody goes their separate ways after a meeting, we just start breaking down numbers and options and, weighing the balance test on them, so.
Okay. Got anything else, Jake? Dennis?
No, I don't have any questions, no.
All right, well, thanks for the update on the health insurance.
You're welcome. Thanks for your time.
Moving on to item number 4. The committee will go into closed session pursuant to section 19, paragraph 85, paragraph 1C of the Wisconsin statutes, which reads, considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluations, data of any public employee over which the government body has jurisdiction or exercise responsibility. In closed session, committee will consider granting extended sick leave to an employee pursuant to a collective bargaining agreement.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to go into closed session.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to go into closed session. All in favor?
Aye.
Committee is in closed session. We have a second?
I'll second it, but mainly because we don't have any choice.
We got a motion and a second to grant the employee extended sick leave. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? 0. Ayes have it, 3-0. So we took our action on the sick leave. That's item number 6. Item number 7 is adjournment.
You can adjourn,
Motion.
Mr. Chairman.
I adjourn the meeting of the Human Resource Committee on September 8th at 5:46.
5:46.